Grace and peace, family. Grace and peace. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. Grace and peace, family. Hotep. Grace and peace. Free the land, beloved. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. Grace and peace, family. Hotep. Free the land, beloved. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Vicky Show right here on FlyNubianQueenTV.com, the network for melanated people just like you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Vicky Show right here on FlyNubianQueenTV.com, the network for melanated people just like you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Vicky Show. Let's see. All right, I think we fixed it. Are we live, y'all? Welcome, 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 dear family. Thank you so much for your patience. As you come in, family, please come in giving us a thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Be sure to like, be sure to share. I want you to be sure to text the word Queens to 31996 so that you're able to receive phone notifications when we go live from time to time. We're so pleased that you have tuned in to the Vicky Show. We have a very special show, a very special guest. So, dear family, before I introduce our amazing guest today, a little bit of housekeeping, family. I want you to make sure that you share. I want to thank you so much for your patience. As we were setting this up, we know that the right people at the right time will hear this broadcast. We started late, so we trust that the others will come on in later for our replay. Thank you so much for your patience. So much. My name is Vicky Dillard. I'm typically here on FlyNubianQueenTV.com live weekdays, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. So, family, we ask that you thumbs up, like, and share because we know that it helps to draw other folk into the broadcast. And we understand that because we're using alternative Black media, you assist us in marketing. You understand that we do not have that same multi-billion-dollar, multi-million-dollar budget for commercials that some of the white corporate media outlets have. So you help to expand and strengthen our collective Black voice. And for that, we say thank you. Now, family, without further ado, I want to introduce our very special guest today, Brother Demetrius Muhammad. I want you to understand and know the reason I invited him to come on the Vicky Show today. We've been in talk, to be honest with you, for quite some time. I've been wanting this brother on for a minute. And the reason, dear family, we're having him on is because we know, watch this, that the U.S. government has an uncanny ability to raise the dead. They can bring folk back from the dead and weaponize them. Y'all talk Black to me. What do you mean? We're going to explain it in just a moment. Today's discussion is this amazing book. Y'all see that? We're going to tell you in just a moment on how you can get it. But didn't you kill Malcolm? Myth busting the propaganda against the Nation of Islam. You all see these marks here? I've got some questions for our scholar brother Demetrius Muhammad. Welcome, Brother Demetrius to Fly Nubian Queen TV.
Sister Vicky, thank you so much. I am so privileged and so very honored to have the great and grand opportunity to be here with you on Fly Nubian Queen and all of your loyal listeners and viewers. We enjoy your show, because I'm one of those listeners and viewers, and we're very grateful to Almighty God Allah for the service that you provide to our community. So we're very happy to be with you today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. And the privilege is all mine. Again, family, we thank you so much for your patience with the tech issues, but rest assured, once it's done, we're going to upload it and it'll be available for others to watch. But we're going to get moving, Brother Dimitri, so we can get it done so that others are able to see it later, okay?
That's fine.
And yes, sir. Thank you so very much. Family, I have failed to go a month or two without somebody messaging me, somebody in the comment section on one of my social media platforms, somebody making a comment on one of Fly Nubian's platforms, saying something about that nation. They the one responsible for Malcolm being out of here. Farrakhan is a traitor. He's strange. He's this, he's that. The Nation of Islam. Somebody always has something to say. Then, Brother Dimitri, I came across and was told about, to be honest with you, folks send me stuff all the time, about some prominent online actors that makes videos talking about the Nation of Islam being responsible for the assassination of Brother Malcolm. I'm so pleased that you wrote this. What is this, 352 page book? Yes, 352 page book. I think my count that I put down here when I was flipping through it was what, 410? Was it footnote references? Oh, he didn't come to play, y'all. We got a scholar on here today. Somebody talk black to me. And I love this because this is to give you receipts, as we call them. This is so that you will know the truth and you will do the research for yourself. And you, Black family, we know that the devil is a liar. Somebody say the devil is a liar. We discussed that on the Vicky Show, John chapter 8, verse 44. We won't get into details of it, but we know this much. And Brother Dimitri, we're getting ready to go here, but I got to set this up real quick. I always ask my audience, Brother Dimitri, a quiz. I said, what people on the planet match John 18, where it's written that the devil is a liar, the father of lies? When he lies, is consistent with his character. We saw a huge manifestation of that with the Trump administration, right? And prior to. Then I asked him, I said, well, who matches John chapter 10, where it says, this thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy? I said, what group of people, what nation do you know is the liar, goes about the earth stealing, killing, and destroying? This is who we talking about today, Black family. So without further ado, Brother Dimitri, let's discuss, but didn't you kill Malcolm? Briefly, brother, why did you write this?
Sister Vicky, we wrote that book because of all of the things that you just mentioned. We bear witness that wherever we have gone for the last 30 years, having been a registered member of the Nation of Islam, invariably we are posed the question regarding the role of the Nation of Islam, or lack thereof, in the assassination of Minister Malcolm X. And so as a student minister, as a member of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's research team, we had a growing desire to do the work necessary to rebut all of the various aspects of the propaganda that we document in our book have been deliberately devised and executed to cause Black America and the world to look askance at the Nation of Islam and our salvific work. We wanted to put all of the information together. We wanted to build the arguments, and we wanted to destroy the propaganda for those who are sincerely seeking the truth. And so we believe that this is a work that, even though we were used as a vessel to produce it, we believe that it is a work that has been guided by Almighty God Allah to aid in the work of the defense of and the vindication of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the Nation of Islam, and Black America.
Beautiful. So is there an anniversary, an important date, or something that's coming up here soon?
Yes. Each and every year, we have noticed that somewhere around the middle to the end of February, as the Nation of Islam prepares for its annual Savior's Day convention that celebrates the birth anniversary of Master Fard Muhammad, and it also celebrates the many great heroes and heroines of the Black struggle in America, who, as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has said, have also been like little saviors among our people. We noticed that around February the 21st, we see a lot of activities, a lot of discussions, a lot of events that introduce a narrative surrounding the assassination of Malcolm X, because it was February the 21st, 1965, that Minister Malcolm X was assassinated at the Audubon Ballroom in New York City. So this weekend, we have February the 21st, which I believe is the 56th anniversary of the assassination of Minister Malcolm X. So you might see your timelines and your news feeds and your inboxes flooded with any and everything Malcolm X.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, we have to understand and be aware, you know, it's written in scripture that we're not supposed to be ignorant of the devil's tactics, right? And when you use the word devil, of course, it's styled as, you know, the opposer or the opposer. One of the things, and I love how you all get out in front of it with knowledge and with wisdom. And I also like the text that says that we hurl truth at falsehood until we knock out his reins. Did I get that right?
Yes. The Holy Quran. Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I'm going to say this too, because I'm a big advocate of Black masculinity. And there is not a better man-making machine. Y'all play too much. Somebody talk black to me. Don't make me get this gavel out. We holding court today. I'm going to try to act like I got some sense since we have a guest today. But there is not a better man-making machine than the Nation of Islam, headed by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And we know that one of the great things about these men is not just the bucks and the bulk and the body, right? It's the big black brain. Somebody say the big black brain. We understand that that is the greatest threat to white supremacy. We discuss that all the time, the big black brain. So this big black brain, 352 pages, 410 footnote references. I want us to get ready to get into it, brother, without further delay. But didn't you kill Malcolm? There's a film out now about Judas and the Black Messiah, talking about traitors and so forth. There are different Malcolm X, Nation of Islam type television series that are out. And some folks are giving some good reviews about them, but there's still some things that you have an inside knowledge on the truth and so forth, know that it still, in some ways, attempts to shine, you know, a negative light on folk in the Nation of Islam. Would you please help us to set the record straight?
Well, you know, Sister Vicky, I like the way you began when you talked about those who like to resurrect the dead. The fact of the matter is that upon Malcolm's untimely assassination, February 21st, 1965, obituaries were published about Minister Malcolm in major newspapers all over America.
Okay.
And these obituaries were condemning Minister Malcolm. They were excoriating Minister Malcolm. They were demonizing Minister Malcolm. And so Malcolm was assassinated, much to the chagrin of the white power structure, especially mainstream media, Jewish organizations, law enforcement organizations. There was a certain kind of celebration when Minister Malcolm was assassinated. Fast forward to the early 1990s. And you see Minister Malcolm being raised from the dead. And we document that this is because it was during the late 80s and the early 1990s that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan began to gain significant momentum in the rebuilding of the Nation of Islam, a feat and an achievement that no serious onlooker at that time believed he would be successful in. But the minister began to fill arenas, college auditoriums, churches, mosques, you name it. Anywhere Louis Farrakhan was speaking, Black people were filling that arena. And so the powers that be became upset. And as they looked around, they could not find a living Black leader that they could get behind, support, and root for and back to be an opponent, a worthy opponent to the wisdom, the brilliance, and the magnetism of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So you were very accurate in your statement, because they could not find a living leader to make an opponent for Minister Farrakhan. They began to go into the graveyard of Black history. And it was there that they exhumed and sanitized the history of Minister Malcolm X, and they introduced him as a posthumous hero for Black youth. And they spun a narrative. The narrative was, we know you all like Farrakhan, but check out Malcolm X. And as you grow in love with Malcolm X, remember, it was this guy, Farrakhan, and the Nation of Islam that took him away from you. He would be here if it were not for Farrakhan and the nation. So this narrative has been put forth, and the greatest victims of this narrative have been the youth of Black America, because it has created this kind of precarious predicament. Black youth have fallen in love with Minister Malcolm X, but because of propaganda, they have developed a hatred, or in the least, a neutral position toward the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam. In other words, they love the fruit, but they hate the tree that produced the fruit. So this means that they have idealized and they have romanticized and are involved in hero worship of Minister Malcolm without ever going to feed from that which Malcolm fed from, so that they themselves might grow in Malcolm's image and his example. So it's a precarious predicament, because we see so many of our people who said they love Malcolm, but they don't have Malcolm's wisdom. They say they love Malcolm, but they don't have Malcolm's disciplined, personal way of life. They say they love Malcolm, but they are afraid to speak truth to power. So we have to say that it is, a part of the propaganda's aim is to make the youth to love a man and make them hate the process, and to hate the man, and to hate the community that gave birth to the man that they love. Indeed. So the net effect is Black youth remain, by and large, in many instances, incorrigible and involved in self-destructive lifestyles that are a result of the growing, overspreading influence of popular culture.
Wow, very powerful. For those of you that are just tuning in, my name is Vicki Dillard, and I'm interviewing now a very special guest, a representative, a scholar, supreme scholar with the Nation of Islam, here to bust the myths about whether or not they were involved in the assassination of our brother Malcolm X. Big shout out to my Instagram family. Instagram, get ready to come on over to flynubianqueentv.com. We thank you for your patience. We did have some tech issues, but we're up live now, and we're going to get the interview done so that it'll upload later and others will be able to watch it. Come on over Instagram to flynubianqueentv.com. By the way, family, you can follow me on Instagram at Vicki X Dillard. Follow me on Instagram at Vicki X Dillard. Thank you so very much. Now, brother Dimitri, let's get into some of the details. I might skip around here a little bit. So they want to know, did the nation killed Malcolm. We see from the movies and what we hear that they were actually the Muslims that pulled the trigger and actually murdered Brother Malcolm. What really took place? What would you say to that when it was actually some Muslims, they say, that was responsible for pulling the trigger? You say here in around page 179, 180, chapter 6, myth busting Malcolm's assassination, exposing hidden hands. And here it says that when you discuss the importance, as we close this important volume that's devoted to unraveling the series of pernicious myths regarding the assassination of Malcolm X, you talk about examining the role of those groups and entities who have tried to hide their hands and point the finger at the nation. So I'm skipping over. And family, we know this is the place for intelligent Black people, so we can take a little bit of knowledge. Is that right, family? But this on page 181, you say this: from the beginning of the time following Malcolm's assassination, the United States government has wanted the public to believe that the nation was responsible for the assassination of Malcolm X. This is the reason they arrested and incarcerated 2 innocent men who were known members of the Nation of Islam's Muhammad Mosque number 7 in Harlem, New York City. You say that these 2 men, Norman 3X Butler, now known as Muhammad Abdul Aziz, and Thomas 15X Johnson, known as Khalil Islam, served more than 20 years each for a crime that they didn't commit. It says here that we know that they're innocent because persons who were at the Audubon ballroom when Malcolm X was assassinated have publicly stated that they were not present. Break this down for us, brother.
Well, you know, you hit the nail on the head as you read the text, Sister Vicky. And the point that we're making is that from the start, you know, as the old expression was, the fix is in. So from the very beginning, 2 innocent men who were known members of Mosque number 7 in New York were arrested, and they were not even present at Malcolm's speech that day. And this teaches us that it was always the design to kill 2 birds with 1 stone: facilitate and orchestrate the assassination of Minister Malcolm X, and then blame the Black Muslims, blame the Nation of Islam for his assassination. And so that has continued all the way up until today. And, you know, part of what we showcase in the book is how the FBI, in some of their internal memos that were subsequently released in the Freedom of Information Act, COINTEL profiles, they took credit for Malcolm's assassination. Now, that's strange because if such a powerful law enforcement agency is celebrating and pointing to Malcolm's assassination as being exemplary of their counterintelligence work and its effectiveness, why are we even still having a conversation about the Nation of Islam? I remember when there was 9/11, and what the public was told at that time was that Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda had taken credit for 9/11. And as far as the authorities were concerned, that was sufficient for them. But we see here now, 56 years later, we have many plagued by false ideas and concepts that it was the Nation of Islam that is responsible for Brother Minister Malcolm's assassination. The only admitted killer of Minister Malcolm, which was Talmadge Hayer, he gave the names of those who conspired with him. He talked about how he was approached by men that he only had a vague familiarity with, and they brought him into a conspiracy. And we further find that it was the FBI, who also worked in tandem with the New York Police Department, who, as we reveal for the first time in our book, also worked in tandem with the Anti-Defamation League of B'nai B'rith to spy on Black leaders, to discredit them in the press, to infiltrate them with not only informants, but with another very wicked type of operative, that which is called an agent provocateur. An agent provocateur is the kind of agent who has the legal authority from the agency that he represents to infiltrate an organization and to commit crimes in the name of that organization, to give law enforcement agencies justification to take down that organization, arrest its leaders and its members. And so I was just informed a few hours ago that there is to be a press conference tomorrow that will be facilitated by civil rights attorney Ben Crump and a man by the name of Reggie Wood, who is a family member of a character that we reference in our book called Ray Wood, who was during those days an agent similar to Gene Roberts, who worked for the New York Police Department's Bossy Division, Bureau of Special Services Investigation. So you have all of these groups that work together in concert to infiltrate the nation with informants, with agent provocateurs, and to actually facilitate the assassination of Malcolm X and subsequently deceive the public to believe that it was the result of the Nation of Islam.
Right. That is interesting. Family, for those of you that are just coming in, welcome. My name is Vicki Dillard. So pleased that you've joined us today on The Vicki Show at FlyNewBenQueenTV.com, the network for melanated people just like you. Beloved, we're sitting here busting myths with our brother, Demetri Muhammad, a representative of the nation, going straight to the source, which we know that a lot of people that's running their mouth don't go straight to the source. People write movies and do TV series without talking to the nation. Isn't that funny? Without talking to the people that should be in the know, which is so fascinating to me, about who is responsible for Brother Malcolm's assassination. This is very important because right now we're seeing a lot of movement, Brother Demetri, with, like I said, Judas and the Black Messiah, all of these Malcolm X movies coming out. And the other thing I want to throw out here too very quickly, where it says, but didn't you all kill Malcolm? On the next page here, I think it says here on page 182. By the way, family, I'm quoting from Brother Demetrius Muhammad's amazing book, But Didn't You Kill Malcolm? Brother, tell us quickly where we can get this book. We're going to mention it again later, but tell us now where we can get this 352-page book with 410 footnotes in it. Tell us where we can get it from.
You can get it from our website, researchminister.com. Just click on shop, which connects you to our Shopify store, and you can order your copy, and we'll send it right out to you. We hope that you who are interested in getting the truth will order the book, because one of the things that we have found, Sister Vicki, is that there are many sincere people who just have a false belief and a misunderstanding regarding this very important subject.
Yes.
And a lot of it has to do with the fact that the information which they have fed from have been from sources that are hostile to the Nation of Islam. In other words, from sources that would never give an objective portrait of the nation in their writings in the first place. So this is what our community has fed from by and large with respect to discussions around Minister Malcolm's assassination. And so we hope that you will allow the Nation of Islam to share with you facts that vindicate the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, vindicate the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and vindicate the believing community of the Nation of Islam. Because when people ask us that question, but didn't y'all kill Malcolm? It is as though they are seeking to castigate and to blame an entire religion,
Yes.
an entire spiritual community
Come on.
for a political assassination that took place at this point before many of us were even born.
Come on.
So we want you to, if you are sincere, get the book, read the book,
yes,
and consider the facts and the arguments that we have presented.
And that's how you know, brother, in my opinion, who an agent provocateur is, who a mess maker is, the mischief makers are. If you want the truth and the facts, examine them. You don't even have to believe me or Brother Dimitri today. All you need to do, and I'm talking to my audience. My audience, we try to nurture intelligent Black people. Somebody talk Black to me. Brother Dimitri, I got people that make crazy videos about me, Brother Dimitri, thousands, tens of thousands of people that watch them. I don't suffer from low self-esteem. Somebody talk Black to me. And I don't mind my feelings are not hurt because you don't want to hear the truth. Are y'all listening to me today? Why I emphasize at the beginning of the show, Brother Dimitri, John chapter 8, about the devil is a liar. When he lies, he is consistent with his character. Is because if he's moving his mouth, brother, that might mean he's lying. Since when do Black people take the word over the U.S. government? I told you I'm going to try to act like I have some sense. I have a guest on today. It's been a long time. I'm trying to see. That's what makes me look at people suspicious when they're quick to, you feel me? When they're quick to immediately take the word of someone that has been an open, documented enemy to Black people, responsible for manifold murders, assassination, destruction of organizations and entities. Since when are we so quick to take their word without us doing our due diligence? So that's not gonna fly. Are y'all hearing me today on the Vicky show, at least? Now, it may go all over the internet with everybody else, but that's not gonna work here. We believe in nurturing intelligent Black people. Now, let's get into some of these details as quickly as we can, because I have a few more interesting questions that people ask me, or I hear comments said about the nation as well. But I wanna throw this out there. In addition to this part on page 182 of your book, again, family, I'm quoting from Brother Dimitri's book, But Didn't You Kill Malcolm? Again, you can get the book. One more time, the website, brother.
Researchminister.com. Researchminister.com.
Somebody put that in the chat for me right now. I don't see too many of our moderators, but that's okay. The V-Hive is in the digital building, and they're getting ready to hold it down. Somebody put researchminister.com in the chat. I just saw a moderator pop up. Darlene X. Somebody say shout out to Darlene X. Darlene, please put these relevant links in the chat for us, sis. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. Now let's move forward. There it says these two brothers, page 182. These two brothers who were members of the nation's mosque, Muhammad's Mosque number 7 in New York in 1965, were innocent, but they were falsely arrested and convicted for assassinating Malcolm X. The only admitted killer. I have to emphasize this, Brother Dimitri, for a reason. The only admitted killer of Malcolm X, Talmadge, I hope I'm saying his name right, Hare, also known as Thomas Hagen, has for many years also maintained that these two brothers had nothing at all to do with. Wait a minute, brother, help me, research minister, scholar, big Black brain. Wait. Whoa. You telling me that the admitted killer of Malcolm X said that the two brothers that they said had something to do with and didn't?
That's exactly right.
That's right there. Family, are you taking your woo side? Somebody say woo side. The movies didn't tell you this. Now, some people, Brother Dimitri, say, well, Spike is Black. Spike is cool. Spike wanted to do a movie on Malcolm X, and he made some kind of interesting inferences in the movie. But what I found in the back of this book, and you got to help me with this, Brother Dimitri. What I found interesting, let me find y'all give me a minute. Thumbs up, family. Thumbs up, like and share. For those of you that are just tuning in, we're discussing with the research minister, Brother Dimitri Muhammad, facts about whether or not the nation had anything to do with the assassination of Brother Malcolm. I think it's page 345. Is this it? I think it is. Whoa. This is a copy of an actual document. Family, I don't know if you can see this or not, but y'all know I don't play about receipts, right, family? Y'all know I just don't play about it. What does it say? Movie scripts on Malcolm X interested FBI. I believe this is written in the year I was born, 1979, written by Carl E. Anderson. Talk about this, Brother Demetri.
You know, Sister Vicky, one of the things that we have found as we engage with the general public is that very few people.
Brother Demetri, looks like you just stopped for a second.
What they have read or studied. Most people have developed an attitude, which we know over time, attitudes harden into beliefs. Most of them have gotten their information from either the movie or the book. By the book, I mean the autobiography of Malcolm X. And so those are the two main sources for most people. And in the book, you know, we deconstruct the reasons why we believe that you should not be dependent upon the movie. The movie was a great movie. I mean, Denzel did his thing, all of the cinematography, the costumes, etc. But there were great historical falsehoods that were in the book. And Spike Lee told Professor Henry Louis Gates that he knew that Warner Brothers was interested in him telling a story of Malcolm after he came from Mecca, when he, quote, stopped calling white people blue-eyed devils, end quote. So Warner Brothers, a Jewish company, gave Spike Lee $18 million to produce it. And that in and of itself is intriguing because Malcolm was considered the leading Black anti-Semite. Moreover, J. Edgar Hoover wanted to approve any scripts that were going to be big budget films in Hollywood.
Wait a minute, wait. You're going too fast. Did you say, this is for the people that's listening, brother, because we got the scholar here today. See, we're not dealing with people that's making money to pay for their babies and stuff with the YouTube dollars and stuff. We're talking about people that's on the inside with 352-page books with 410 footnotes. Somebody talk black to me. This is a question, family, about whether or not you are going to take, remember I taught you in Genesis, one of the multiple revelations that come out of Genesis, because there's more than just one. What did the God say when he was looking for Adam and the woman? They were naked. They were fleeing from him when they heard him walking in the cool of the day. And Adam says that we were looking to cover ourselves because we were naked. He asked an important question. He said, what? Who told you that? We teach you on the Vicky Show that whenever somebody tells you something negative about your brother or sister or their organization, the first thing you do is never to address the allegation. Somebody talk black to me. Brother Demetri, what we're taught on the Vicky Show is the first thing we do is we ask the same question that God asked. Who told you that? And let me see if the chat can tell me, because I can't see it on my screen. I'm going to have to use my phone. Chat, what is the next thing? Let's tell Brother Demetri. What's the next thing we do after we say, who told you that? What do we turn around and say to the people that comes with the allegation? Somebody talk black to me. Brother Demetri, what we do is we ask the person for two forms of ID. We never even get around to addressing the allegations of our black brother and sister because we're running a background check on them. And even then we'll tell them, we'll get back with them if we feel like it. You feel what I'm saying? So we want you to keep this in mind. Say that last part again, Brother Demetri.
Well, I gotta dovetail off of what you just said about the culture that you are cultivating on your podcast, because you know, Sister Vicky, that in the back of the book, we include a very important appendix because we want our people to understand what are some of the tactics that these agencies have used time and time again to destabilize Black organizations, sincere men and women who are simply coming together to pursue justice and liberation for our people so that we might overcome our condition of oppression. Yet the most powerful government in the world has attacked us, has sought to destroy us and deny us the right to organize and to redress our justified grievances with righteous indignation. So you are right. We have to be very careful about what we believe, because that is one of the old tactics that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us of, that was part of the technology of Mr. Yaqub, going all the way back to the making of the Caucasian. He was taught how to divide and conquer using lies, using slander, using rumor mongering, etc. And so I was making the point that Mr. Hoover had his hand involved in the production of films that would put a message out before the American people that would conflict with the official government narrative. Not only was this the case with regard to the assassination of Malcolm X, but Mr. Hoover is also on record not wanting people to look too deep into the assassination of President John F. Kennedy.
I saw that in the book.
And we talk about how he was interested in making sure that no one questioned the theory of the lone gunman, that no one looked beyond and developed a counter narrative, a different theory of the events that took place that assassinated President Kennedy. And historians will tell you the 60s are referred to as the decade of assassination. President Kennedy was assassinated, Malcolm X was assassinated, Dr. King was assassinated, all during the 60s, and all, I might add, under the watch of J. Edgar Hoover. So he was intimately involved in the assassination of Malcolm X, and in his internal writings, he said that he wanted to prevent the rise of a messiah among Black people, not a Black messiah. I want to clarify something. Mr. Hoover was not looking for a Black messiah. See, because if he's a Black messiah, then he's just a messiah for Black people. But he was looking for the messiah, the world's messiah, that he understood would be born from the precious womb of a Black mother, and who would come to birth and first and foremost give justice to Black people, but he would ultimately be the source, the fulcrum around which justice for all oppressed people globally would be ensured. Mr. Hoover understood something of the divine destiny of Black people in America. I want to say that it's not a Black messiah, it's the messiah being born from Black people, he who would provide salvation for the entire human family. And so he looked at candidates. He looked at Malcolm as a candidate. He looked at Dr. King as a candidate. He looked at Stokely Carmichael as a candidate. And he looked at the most honorable Elijah Muhammad as a candidate. He falsely believed that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad couldn't fit the bill because of his age.
Older.
But what's fascinating, and you know we document this in the book, Sister Vicky, in the center of all of those that he saw as candidates was the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, because everybody else was only 1 degree of separation from Mr. Muhammad. They were under Mr. Muhammad's sphere of influence. Malcolm was under his sphere of influence. Stokely Carmichael was under his sphere of influence. And beginning in the early part of 1966, Dr. King came under his sphere of influence. So we cannot deal with these histories without also having a respect and an appreciation for certain prophecies. So that's why I'm glad that you are interspersing very important references to scripture.
Yes, sir. This is so powerful. Family, for those of you that are just coming in, my name is Vicky Dillard, interviewing right now a member representative of the Nation of Islam, answering your most pressing questions about whether or not they had anything to do with the assassination of our brother Malcolm X. We know this has been pushed throughout society. Folks online, folks in corporate white media in particular, have pushed this narrative. Our brother just reminded us that the anniversary of Malcolm's assassination is coming up, that there's going to be an amazing press conference coming out tomorrow as well. We'll address that again. But family, we understand that propaganda, and this is what I talk about a lot on my show, those of us that are in media, we're actually engaged in a level of warfare, because media is warfare as well. It's an element, it's an aspect of warfare. Dealing with false prophets and propaganda is warfare. This is so important that we're able to listen to the truth so that you may know it. This is so important because, Brother Dimitri, if they can label one of our leaders a liar, demonize them, give them a type of scarlet letter, it doesn't even matter the truth that the leader says, because you're filtering what they say through this slanderous, false, libelous reputation. Watch this, that your open enemy created. That's the reason why they love giving you a record. They love giving you a record so that they can control your life and legally discriminate against you. And this is exactly what they also do as it relates to character assassination. So family, never forget that. I want you to briefly address this because I want to ask you, I want to discuss a couple of other hot topics that I know is in the minds of people. But family, as our brother said, for those of you that are sincere seekers of the truth, you have don't go around saying, wonder, I heard this person on YouTube that has on some shorts and sitting with a certain background on the teeth and the thing, got a lot of followers and stuff. He said that the nation did it and that Farrakhan had something to do with it too. So is that true? Let me tell you something. And I'm just little old Vicky. I get so annoyed when people fill my message box, Brother Dimitri. Send me emails, call. They call sometimes, Brother Dimitri. I say they call. And they say, so-and-so did a video on you, Vicky. And they said this and they said that, and thousands of people watched it. You're sitting there put in a position to be on the defense based on a lie. You want me to jump over, and then you didn't do no research. You didn't go look up Vicky. You didn't go look at several of my other videos. You didn't do a timeline in your mind to say, wait a minute. Number one, what is this person saying? This is what they say. You want to rush and do no research. If you want to know the truth, if you want to have the receipts, you go to researchminister.com, get 352-page book, 410 footnotes. But didn't you kill Malcolm? And get the receipts and study and find out yourself, and then come back with whatever questions you may have later. Meanwhile, we want you to give us a thumbs up, family. Be sure to like, be sure to share. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Vicky X Dillard. Follow me on Instagram at Vicky X Dillard, dear family. Thank you so very much. Those of you that are giving, those of you that are sharing, please know that your gifts and your support is blessed 1,000-fold. I thank you so much. We're talking directly to someone in the Nation of Islam about whether or not they had anything to do with it, and they're giving you receipts about why it is they didn't. Real quick, brother, Mr. Farrakhan is always thrown in the mix. You say here so eloquently on page 185. Minister Farrakhan played no role in the assassination of Malcolm X. Now watch this, watch this deepness, family. Sometimes the deepness is the simple part. Watch this, watch this. Are y'all listening? He says here in the second paragraph on page 185, their mythology is a thinly veiled character assassination tactic. First of all, this mythology, as it has been contrived, belies the fact that murder is a crime that has no statute of limitations. I'm gonna need my intelligent Black people to talk Black to me. You make the point very well. I'm skipping. You said that Mr. Farrakhan has not been arrested because he's not involved. Who in their right mind would believe that the United States of America, the most powerful, the richest nation on the planet, that has been the #1 enemy to Black people, that enslaved us in the first place and committed all manner of evil and wickedness against us? Do you guys believe for 1 second, if they had one scintilla of evidence that Minister Farrakhan was involved in this, as our brother reminds us, knowing that that the fact that murder is a crime that there is no, for which there's no statute of limitations. Brother, would you talk to us about this?
Well, you bring up a very powerful point. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has never been associated with Malcolm's assassination by law enforcement officials.
By who?
By law.
Okay.
Is because there is no evidence to bring Minister Farrakhan into a court of law.
Wait a minute. So just to be clear. So the people on the internet got more evidence than the law enforcement, the white supremacist law enforcement that can't wait to find something, anything. We see that they make cases, they do trumped up charges, they do all kind of stuff to us. So you telling me that the internet people got more inside information than the law enforcement do? That's what you telling me? You got to forgive my Vicky Show energy, Brother Demetri. I just have to help our people understand, because I know how devilish these little corners and crevices on the internet can be. So I just want to be clear about that. Please go ahead.
No, the beautiful point that you're making is apropos, because what has happened, Sister Vicky, is because there is an absence of evidence to try Minister Farrakhan in a court of law, the wicked decision was made to try him in the court of public opinion. So what you can't do legally, because you know you do not have facts and evidence, and you know that you are wrong, you want to poison the minds of the people against the man that is so magnetic.
Come on.
We have to remember that even though they put Brother Malcolm on a stamp, Malcolm was an exponent and a representative of two of the most controversial ideas ever to exist in America's public life. Those ideas are Black nationalism and Islam. So the powers that be have always hated Black nationalism, and they have also always hated Islam. Today, Minister Farrakhan is the greatest exponent and the greatest expression of the ideas of Black nationalism and Islam. His enemies today were Malcolm's enemies yesterday.
Now watch
so
this.
It is foolish to think that those that hated Malcolm yesterday love him today. And it is foolish to think that those who hated Malcolm yesterday would not have a vested interest in destroying the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yes,
and I
sir.
tell you, Sister Vicky, it is so wicked. See, the idea of character assassination.
Come on.
Character assassination is purposed to facilitate an actual physical assassination. They have demonized Minister Farrakhan because they actually want to inspire someone to assassinate Minister Farrakhan. That's really what this is all about, because they understand that Minister Farrakhan has the unique capability of communicating very controversial ideas that inspire the masses of Black people to want to rise above our condition of oppression and begin to demand justice for ourselves in this, the very country wherein we were sold as slaves. You know, Sister Vicky, that the Bible says, and it prophesies, that Joseph, he was sold into bondage in a land and made a slave. But ultimately, because of the providential hand of God, he was elevated to become the ruler in the land wherein he had been sold as a slave. Well, in the Nation of Islam, we believe that what was the case with Joseph is a prophecy of the destiny of Black people in America. And we believe that the voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan today facilitates us walking into our destiny. So in reality, the powers that be hate Minister Farrakhan because he stands in the way of their genocidal plots against the masses of Black people.
Yes, sir. That is so powerful. Family, those of you coming in, I'm Vicky Dillard, interviewing one of the great scholars, Brother Demetri Muhammad, directly from the Nation of Islam, to discuss with receipts that the Nation of Islam and Minister Farrakhan had nothing to do with our brother Malcolm X's assassination. Family, as you come in, be sure to give us a thumbs up, thumbs up. Be sure to like and share. Shout out to Darlene X, our moderator that's in the building. Darlene, my folks are saying that there's a lot of trolls in the chat right now, and we even got started late. In some kind of way, the trolls still know how to make their ways and stuff to the channel and stuff, but we welcome even the trolls. But I trust that our moderator is going to handle them. Thumbs up, family, like and share. I want to ask you I want to make another point. Isn't it true that one of Malcolm X's own daughters said that the nation didn't have anything to do with his assassination? Is that true?
I have seen a viral YouTube video clip of Malcolm's daughter, Ilyasa Shabazz, speaking against the notion that the Nation of Islam is somehow responsible for the death of her father. There are also very popular pictures of her and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan embracing. I believe it was at Aretha Franklin's funeral. I'm not sure. But, you know, we talk about, Sister Vicky, that it was the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan who held a fundraiser for Malcolm X's daughter, Kubila Shabazz, that raised over $250,000. This was a unity and reconciliation event held at the Apollo Theater. Yes. I believe it was in 1995. This is extraordinary because at that time, Malcolm's daughter, Kubila Shabazz, had been arrested for conspiring to assassinate Minister Farrakhan.
Family, I need you all to hear this. I need you all to hear this because, see, the news doesn't play this. When Meghan McCain sits her funny looking self up on The View, forgive me, Brother Demetri, she sits her funny looking self up on The View, dogging out the war criminal's daughter. The war criminal's daughter, the younger McCain, she's still talking about Farrakhan. Not too long ago, SNL did a mockery piece on Minister Farrakhan. Major newspapers keep throwing him under the bus. I heard one time, not too long ago, what's his name? Jesse Duplantis. God, today. Throw out Minister Farrakhan's name. Y'all look white evangelicals. He just threw his name out in the middle of the thing. Van Jones, I give him this work all the time. Prime Van Jones. Van Jones was on CNN one time. Wasn't nobody even talking about Minister Farrakhan. Van, no, I appreciate him, but I give him this work when he go losing his mind. That's what I do on the Vicky Show. Van's funny looking self set up on scene. Nobody was even talking about Farrakhan, Brother Demetri. By the way, Van, if you're watching, Brother Demetri's not talking about you. I am in love as your sister. Nobody was talking about Minister Farrakhan. Van Jones threw Minister Farrakhan's name out there in a negative way. This is a man that's well into his 80s, that's still on the minds and the lips of the powers that be, but they're also the powers that shouldn't be because of his consequential nature, beloved. It's not for no reason. Now, with me saying all that, brother, I want them to be clear about this last point that you were making because a lot of folks don't know this. I mentioned white mainstream media that talk about all these other things, but what they don't tell you is this. They don't tell you that in fairly recent history, when I say fairly recent history, I mean it wasn't in the 60s. You can help me with the dates, Brother Demetri. One of Malcolm X's daughters was arrested for trying to do what to Minister Farrakhan, Brother Demetri?
She had been arrested for conspiring to assassinate Minister Farrakhan.
Did you guys know that? Family, I said, did you all know that one of Malcolm X's daughters was arrested for trying to assassinate Minister Louis Farrakhan? But Brother Demetri, if I get my facts right, now I'm not the research minister. I'm not none of that. But would you please help me? Did I read and hear somewhere that Minister Farrakhan called out the government for trying to use her and he refused to allow them to to charge her with trying to assassinate him? Tell us a little bit about that.
You know, Sister Vicky, every time I think about this episode in the history of our beloved minister, I'm always very moved by it because to me, it is a demonstration of Minister Farrakhan's deep capacity for love. Minister Farrakhan was the victim in this situation. And yet he saw through the government's plan to create a war in Black America. He saw through it. And the minister rose to defend Malcolm's daughter, Kubila, saying that she had been entrapped. There was a young man, Michael Fitzpatrick, who was an operative for the FBI, and he was from the Jewish community. And he tricked Kubila into pretending that he loved her and wanted to be with her, etc., and, you know, stimulated pain that was in her own life as a result of being a child of the movement, because many times we see powerful leaders, but a lot of times their children struggle being the child of a powerful leader. And we could certainly have sympathy for the children of Malcolm X because their father was assassinated.
Yes.
So this person, Mr. Fitzpatrick, playing upon her emotional state, entrapped her. And the minister rose to defend her. And he used, or he reached out to using as a go-between, because at that time, Minister Farrakhan was not in regular communication with Dr. Betty Shabazz, Malcolm's widow, but through Hakeem Madhubuti, he sent word to Dr. Shabazz that, do you think that we could host an event where we could raise money to support Malcolm's daughter, the same daughter that had been arrested for trying to do harm to Minister Farrakhan?
Now this is why Black media is important, family.
Exactly.
The mainstream, lamestream news didn't tell you that one of Malcolm X's daughter was arrested for trying to assassinate him. But Minister Farrakhan didn't get mad because she was caught up in the trap. He got mad at the one that put her in the trap in the first place, exposed her, then turn around and raise $500,000.
$250,000.
Excuse me, thank you. $250,000. Thank you for helping me, brother. $250,000. For the one that was arrested for the assassination. Are you all paying attention? Thumbs up, like and share. We're going to move along very quickly here, brother. And I want you to try to make it concise. And I'm asking you these questions based on your book, because I know this is a hot topic, what we're talking about. And this next topic is also a hot topic. This is interesting. On page 133 of your book, titled Myth Busting, Messenger Muhammad and the Slander Concerning Teenage Secretaries. Now, people always talk about the fact that it was Malcolm that busted this, and this is the reason why there was some schism. But watch this. You say on page 133, as Malcolm grew in his anger against the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he began to lash out by making slanderous public statements against his former teacher and benefactor. The worst of Malcolm's statements concerned the domestic life of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. In interviews with CBS's Mike Wallace and other interviewers, Malcolm disparaged his teacher, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, seeking to scandalize his domestic life. You go on to talk about J. Edgar Hoover and saying that this character assassinate, that the mainstream media carried this slander and kept it alive for many years. You discussed the fact that according to Professor Matthias Gardell, the FBI carried out a now. It says here on page 134, Gardell is quoted, the FBI director considered this to be an excellent material to capitalize on and wrote to the special agent in charge of the Chicago Bureau Office. Chicago is authorized to prepare and mail anonymous letter to Clara Muhammad. Chicago is authorized to prepare and mail similar anonymous letters containing substantially the same information as the letter mailed to Clara Muhammad to the selected individuals listed. You go on discussing other strategies that they engaged in, related again to his domestic life and Malcolm X, because when Malcolm X said it, it gives the impression that he had just learned, number one, that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had more than one wife, but that Malcolm had this knowledge for a long time. And when he gave the information, it gave a negative impression, but then you also go on to say how the actual wives of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, they vindicate him. And that it wasn't true, based on some other information also that I knew about, that they weren't teenagers or inappropriately married to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. What say you? What anything else you want to add to that?
Well, you know, that's one of the major myths surrounding the assassination of Malcolm X,
Yes.
the slander of his teacher, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And so we take our time deconstructing this myth. And as you pointed out, one of the weapons that we utilize is, number one, the ages of the wives of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to show that they were all adults. Number two, we also show their testimonies, their statements regarding their relationship with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And we also make the case, number one, that it is false to believe that Malcolm left the nation because of the domestic life of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. If you go to the back of the book, you'll see a couple of things. One, on page 348 is a letter where Minister Malcolm specifies his reasons for leaving the Nation of Islam,
yes,
and what became known as his Declaration of Independence in March of 1964 mentions nothing about the domestic life of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Yes.
And you also have in the back of the book on page 347, you probably can't see it, but you'll be able to see it clearly when you order the book.
I'm going to try to get it closer on my screen.
You see where Malcolm, we pull a directly from the text of Malcolm's eviction court hearing.
Now watch this. Whoa. Family, we about receipts. We're not, it's not about the YouTube people. Are y'all listening? We took court records. What did the transcript say, brother? That's why we're telling you to get the book, but didn't you kill Malcolm? You can, if for those who sincerely want the truth, you get it. That way you can examine the documentation and the references and so forth. Get it at researchminister.com. Somebody put that in the chat. Get the book at researchminister.com. Go ahead, brother.
Yes, we showed that after having been sworn in to speak the truth, nothing but the truth, in a court of law.
Court of law.
Malcolm said that he was suspended partially because he had begun to tell that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had taken on wives. Now, this is in a court of law.
Mm-hmm.
See, again, there are two courts here. The court of law, the real court, and the court of public opinion, where you can say anything and don't have to have any facts to back it up or prove it. But in a court of law, look at Malcolm's language, wives. Now, this is very important because at no point have any of those who love Malcolm ever stated that Malcolm stopped being a Muslim once he left the nation.
Yes.
In fact, the narrative is that Malcolm left the Nation of Islam and joined on quote unquote true Islam. Well, if Malcolm had a problem with a messenger of Allah, God, having more than one wife, then he would never have been able to have been a so-called Orthodox Muslim, because Prophet Muhammad of Arabia had more than one wife.
Come on.
Fact about it, there may be some Christians who say, wow, I don't like polygamy, that old stuff in Islam. But hold the phone.
Hold the phone.
Go into your Bible. All of the great prophets of God in the Bible had more than one wife. Moses did. Abraham did. And here's a news flash. Some scholars who have looked carefully at the life of Jesus even raised the question, was Jesus married? So Malcolm could not have been a religious believer in any of the Abrahamic faiths, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, if he had a problem with a servant of Allah God taking on more than one wife. We also document by Malcolm's own testimony in his autobiography that he told the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that he knew the truth of his domestic life as a fulfillment of prophecy according to his study of scripture. He said that he and the son of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had studied the scriptures, and that they were prepared to help communicate this aspect of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's domestic life to the public. But you find something very interesting, and that is it was after Malcolm lost in court that his language changes.
Stop right there.
Very, very significant.
Let's start with family. Listen. Somebody just said, sounds like you calling Malcolm a liar. Let me tell you something. This is the place for intelligent Black people. We will never disparage or disrespect Brother Malcolm. But are you trying to say that it's impossible or it wasn't true that Brother Malcolm did not tell the truth or that there weren't some issues? What our brother is telling us, he's not running his mouth. He's coming with court documents, receipts, and 410 footnotes, 352-page book. Let me help you understand something. Brother Malcolm, my understanding, correct me, scholar, is that he was concerned, was it not about an eviction? Since he was no longer in right standing with the nation, he was in one of the properties of the nation. He knew that he had a short time that he needed to be out of the property from the nation. Isn't it true that in desperation, him trying to hold on to that particular property in court, that's when he blurted that out in court in order to, and this is my understanding, help me, brother, that he did that as a tactic in order to try to stay in the property that belonged to the nation longer, even though he was fully aware of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's domestic situation early on. Is that right?
Well, I would say it like this, Sister Vicky. It was after he lost in court that the language becomes teenage secretaries.
Oh, yes.
Prior to that, he's properly classifying it as wives of the messenger of Allah. So, and I want to say this to those who said that, you know, I'm a student of history.
Yes.
And I am a student in the ministry. And part of what we introduced this book with is this statement. I want to demonstrate that you don't have to hate the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Minister Farrakhan in order to love Malcolm X.
Say that again, please.
I said, you don't have to hate the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Minister Farrakhan to love Malcolm X. Neither do you have to hate Malcolm X to love Elijah Muhammad and Louis Farrakhan. I demonstrate through this book that when we have the actual facts of history,
come on,
when we are sincerely motivated, and when we have as our guiding principle the healing of the wounds that Malcolm's assassination created in the Black community, we can love all parties involved.
That's right.
Malcolm X, let's set the record straight. Malcolm X is Malcolm X from 1952 through 1965. He was the greatest minister for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad at that time. He was the greatest defender of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad at that time. If you love Malcolm X, what you really love is Malcolm's representation, Malcolm's elucidation, and Malcolm's unique configuration of the basic fundamental teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Malcolm's wisdom was not accrued as a result of his careful reading of Noah Webster's dictionary. Malcolm's wisdom, Malcolm's courage, Malcolm's power to stand up and speak truth to the powers that be is as a result of his internalization and his love and his commitment to the message of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Let's make that clear.
Yes.
Malcolm, and even as we show forward, Sister Vicky, in the back of the book, you know, we had to add some pictures because we know a lot of people don't like to read text.
Right.
If you look, we have a page of Malcolm's notes from April of 1964.
Which page you on there, brother?
This is page 346.
Yes.
This is a month after Malcolm's official departure from the Nation of Islam.
Now, we got to slow down. A month after,
yes.
Watch this, April 12th, y'all, 1964. Y'all know that's all I do on the show. Y'all know I get, you know, excited and all that. And some of you all said Vicky is dainty and dangerous, and that's true. But you all know that we only do receipts. Our brother put it April 12, 1964 notes directly from him. We can't run about some of you that think you know Malcolm and putting two and two together. You just go sit down in the internet corner. Notes from his ballot or the bullet speech by Malcolm X. He states that I still credit Mr. Muhammad for what I know and what I am. Brother, help us today. I think I heard somewhere. Wasn't it true that Malcolm was still trying to get back into the Nation of Islam? And that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told him, and correct my language, something about that he needed to put out the fires, some of the fires that he started, and that some believe that when he was getting ready to give that speech, just before he was assassinated, he might have been getting ready to engage in putting out some of the fires that he started.
Yes. That's the reason why on the back cover.
The back, you know, we on the same page, brother. I'm sorry, you gotta tell me to calm down. I'm just at Mississippi. I'm not making you look good at all. Brother Demetrius is up here just put together, just one of the masculine man from, and Vicky is acting like she don't have any sense. Talk to us about what's on the back of the book, brother.
You know, on the back of the book is a very, very powerful quote, because this is from Malcolm's last conversation on earth. This is what he told his administrative assistant, whom I interviewed, whom I had a conversation with, took pictures with, Miss Sarah Mitchell.
Come on.
A lot of historians don't like to bring her up because for many years, her personal testimony, now this is Malcolm's secretary, his administrative assistant after he left the Nation of Islam. She was never in the Nation of Islam, yet she has maintained for many years that Malcolm had planned to say publicly that day that I was wrong, that I had been duped. She said Malcolm confessed to her that after having been so street smart, so street wise and savvy, he felt bad that he had been tricked. He began to put the pieces together in his mind, and he concluded that the things that had been happening to him that threatened his life and the life of his family were not originating from the Nation of Islam.
Come on now.
And so it was that day that he had planned to say that, as well as some other powerful things that we talk about in the book, what he had planned to say that day, that he was assassinated.
Yes, sir.
So again, these facts are so important because, as I was saying, I don't have any interest in disparaging Brother Malcolm. I love Brother Malcolm.
Yes.
You know, Brother Malcolm, we have more of his good than we have of his bad.
That's right.
When he was good, there was hardly anybody better. But Malcolm became victimized by powerful law enforcement agencies working on behalf of the U.S. government. And like anybody who becomes distraught, we become emotional. Yes. And sometimes in an emotional state, we say things we don't really mean.
That's right.
We say things that after further reflection, we wish we could take them back. And not only is Malcolm's secretary saying that he was Abdullah Razak, he said that he believed.
Say that last, your computer stuck. Say that last part one more time. His secretary, and then after that you said.
Well, Malcolm had two organizations. He had Muslim Mosque Incorporated, and he had OAAU, Organization of Afro-American Unity. And Ms. Mitchell helped him coordinate his activities in one. And then there was a brother who used to be James 67X. He left Mosque number 7 to go with Malcolm when Malcolm left the nation. He helped Malcolm oversee one of the other organizations that he started. He was very close with Malcolm because, again, he was in Mosque number 7 and he followed Malcolm out of Mosque number 7 in the nation. Okay. And he has talked about before he passed away about how it wasn't the nation that killed Malcolm. He said Malcolm was easy to kill if the nation wanted to kill him. He says that he, in his conversations with Malcolm conceived of himself as a son of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, based upon certain things that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had said to Minister Malcolm. And he said Malcolm longed to return, and he believed had Malcolm lived that he was on his way back. Yes. And this is not something that is far-fetched. because you and I know, Sister Vicky, there's a parable in the New Testament of a son of a great man.
Come on.
And that son of that great man went away and he fell into distress.
Yes.
And at a certain point, he had the thought, I think that I shall arise and go back into my father's house. Malcolm did not get a chance to live long enough to complete the cycle of the prophetic prodigal son.
Yes.
But I believe, based upon my study of it over many years, that had he survived, he would have come back to the Nation of Islam.
Yes, yes. You know, it's interesting. Some of you are intellectually lazy. Some of the questions, the speculation that you're putting out there, you can find out. You can research by getting the book, but didn't you kill Malcolm? Myth busting the propaganda against the Nation of Islam. Go to researchminister.com. Don't come telling me seem like they was mad at him. You saying seem like because of the movie. Are you on something? You saying seem like not because you went and actually read nothing, researched nothing. You said seem like because of Spike Lee's movie. You said seem like because of someone that's disconnected and don't have proper receipts. Just like there was infighting within other Black nationalist organization. I read to you a quote a little bit ago from J. Edgar Hoover, the former director for many years, many decades of the FBI, where he was intentionally causing mischief between even the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Malcolm X by sending letters to Malcolm. Malcolm thought they was from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and vice versa. The FBI was involved in that. You all know that they sent letters to Dr. King and told him to kill himself, and that they were sending scandalous information to his wife about extramarital activities that they alleged that he was involved in. Stop playing dumb. Stop saying knucklehead things up in this chat. This is not Rachel Maddow, MSNBC. This isn't Fox, baby. You don't get to just blow out and do slander and just say stuff when it comes to the Vicky show and not get checked. You can help yourself and your mind by getting and researching and examining receipts. Researchminister.com. Look at the documentations, but you are too intellectually lazy that you are not going to look at not two of the 410 footnotes. Somebody talk Black to me. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. You don't have to love Minister Farrakhan. Brother Demetri, the Nation of Islam, me, nobody else. But this is not the place where your ignorance and your slander is gonna thrive. It doesn't do that, it dies here. We block. Somebody talk Black to me. So this is an opportunity for you to go fix your ignorance. You don't have to even believe, just examine it. But stop saying silly stuff up in the chat like that. Thank you so much. Y'all got the lady with the curly braids and everywhere right now. Thumbs up, family. Like and share. Real quick. I got to move on.
You know, Sister Vicky, this reminds me of a famous quote that I love. And it says, you know, everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but you're not entitled to your own facts.
Say that again.
Facts are facts.
You are entitled to your own opinion, but you're not entitled to your own set of facts. And your facts are based off of a movie that we just told you, even though we know Spike Lee, I'm sure he didn't mean any harm. But what did you say Spike Lee made it clear when he was making the movie, Brother Demetri? What did you say a little bit ago?
He said that he knew that Warner Brothers had an agenda, and their agenda was to present a certain kind of Malcolm, a so-called kinder, gentler Malcolm, when he no longer was calling the white man the blue-eyed devil. This is a quote from Spike Lee to Professor Henry Louis Gates. Spike Lee also said that he wanted the public to understand he was not out to make a documentary, he was making a drama. Now that's a very important distinction.
Yes, it is.
With a difference with a distinction, because when you are creating a documentary, there is a purpose of documenting the facts of truth and history as the best you know them.
Yes.
But when you are creating a drama, a film, then your primary objective is entertainment first. And oftentimes, as we have seen in many of these movies and television shows, truth is sacrificed in the name of entertainment.
That's right.
So I have been fond of saying that, you know, you can't get your truth and your history from the same place you get your entertainment.
My God,
you're going to have to have a line of demarcation and say, I'm going to watch this movie because it's entertaining, but I'm going to the library or I'm going to read some books in order to learn the actual truth of what happened.
So good. Family, listen, thumbs up, like and share this broadcast. We're so honored to have a direct member, representative, a scholar, supreme scholar from the Nation of Islam that comes with many receipts to answer the question, but didn't you kill Malcolm? We know that this is a seed that's been planted by our open enemy. So if you are someone that shows how gullible you are, and as the scriptures, I didn't say this, but some of the scriptures describe you as deaf, dumb, and blind. I'm going to say it again. There's a people that he characterized as deaf, dumb, and blind. Don't willfully be deaf, dumb, and blind, family. I remind you always that we're dealing with the nature of your open enemy. And if you are we have to work this hard to get you just to research for yourself about your own brothers. But you just taking the word of somebody else, please know, because we're telling you what was behind the movie. The brother just told you where many of the millions of the dollars that Spike got to do the movie, where they came from. If you're going to ignore the hidden hand behind much of what you see, we just can't even help you. Let me read the quote that's on the back of the book. Brother Demetrius, I remember hearing somewhere, and I think it's in one of the lectures, somebody's lecture before, I want to say, correct me on this. I'm gonna read the quote and then I'm gonna make this statement first. And please respond. Is it true that the CIA tried to assassinate Brother Malcolm when he was overseas, and that somehow either an African official and also the French had something to do with either foiling the plan or giving him the heads up that this is what the United States tried to do even when he was overseas with the CIA? Please address that if you know about that in just a moment. But let me read the back. Let me read this. Unless you want to say something right now, you can.
Well, you can go ahead on and go to that part.
Okay, I'm going to go to this part of the quote, family. Get ready for our brother to answer this question. It's important that I throw that out there. Meanwhile, some of your other questions that you have, some of the other things right now, family, an hour and a half show is not meant to cure this. It's meant to whet your appetite. It's meant to give you some insight that there is a counter argument based on facts, truth, and receipts. And it is to provide an avenue whereby you may be able to obtain such. Researchminister.com, the book is titled, But Didn't You Kill Malcolm? Some of the questions you're asking in here, you're showing that you're being intellectually lazy. Now, I don't play with y'all. Y'all know I love you. I love you enough to tell you the truth. We don't have time to be playing around, playing games. Let me try to answer all of these questions that they heard somebody on the internet say, or they got from the movie, when you can go get the book. Read the quote, Vicky. I'm reading the quote now. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Somebody just said, and it's so powerful. Sheep believe opinion. Facts can't wake up. I think they put the wrong word here. Simpletons, probably simpletons. I know that's right, beloved. Your point is well taken. But listen to this quote. This is a quote, family, from Sarah Mitchell, secretary of Malcolm X, revealing the contents of Malcolm's last conversation. Did I say that right, brother? Malcolm's last conversation. Are y'all listening? Quote, during his final hours, Malcolm spoke of plans for explaining to the general public how hasty and mistaken he had been in accusing Black Muslims of bombing his home. He said, quote, you won't find a single instance where Muslim men ever moved to attack women and children. I know their tactics and their limitations. And I'm telling you, things happening to me these past weeks Go beyond the realm of the Muslims. End quote. Malcolm was convinced, this is his secretary now, that a conspired maneuver was already in motion whereby, if anything happened to him, Elisha and his organization would be blamed. So if it's members of the dominant society that's running the movie industry, media, arts and entertainment, we understand how they'll omit this, just like they're going to omit your history in your history books. Your Becky and Karen teachers were not going to correct the record and tell you who you really are and who the original man and the original woman is. I said, quote, this is from Malcolm, you won't find a single instance where Muslim men ever moved to attack women and children. I know their tactics and their limitations. And I'm telling you, things happening to me these past weeks go beyond the realm of the Muslims. And brother, I think he said this too, because didn't he train some of the Muslims?
Yes. You know, there's actually another quote similar to that that's inside the book, where Malcolm begins to talk about how, you know, he trained the Muslims and how to defend the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And so he had an understanding of the spirit and the mind of the believers. And I want to say something about this, Sister Vicky, because see, it's very important, because oftentimes people who look at this episode of Black history come at it with the mind that is purely secular or political. And the Nation of Islam is not a political organization. We are not a secular body.
Come on.
We are spiritual people, and we are guided by spiritual principles and our belief and our understanding of sacred texts, especially the Bible and the Holy Quran. And so unless you have an appreciation for the psychology of Muslims and believers and who we are, what we are about, you'll misunderstand a lot.
Come on.
I hear people sometimes talk about, well, he wasn't loyal to Malcolm. He was loyal to Elijah Muhammad, and that was wrong, blah, 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 blah. Well, you got to understand, inside of a brotherhood and sisterhood, a spiritual brotherhood and sisterhood, that which unites us, the bond that brings us together, is our love for Allah, God, and his messenger. So it's not about breaking common loyalties or friendships. It's about, if any of us go from being a believer to someone who opposes that which we believe, and he who gave us that which we believe,
come on,
then part of our duty as believers is the defense of our faith and the defense of the teacher of our faith, who in this case was the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the messenger of Allah. Now, this doesn't require that people outside of the Nation of Islam agree with what we believe.
Now say that again,
But
brother, because people in here, we need some assistance and stuff. I don't know how the trolls came late. We had technical issues. We started late, but y'all, you found it. What'd you say, brother?
Yeah, it doesn't require you to believe like we believe, but you have to know how we believe. See, there's a verse of scripture in the Holy Quran that goes like this, Sister Vicky. It says that the believers are those who prefer the life of the messenger to their very own lives. So when you understand this kind of strong spiritual belief and faith and brotherhood, then it helps you to understand the dynamics of the things that went down, because most assuredly the government agencies understood these dynamics, and it was their plan to manipulate those dynamics. It was their work to turn Malcolm against the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. It was their work to create a charged atmosphere so that they might facilitate Minister Malcolm's assassination and to subsequently blame the Nation of Islam. But you asked a question, I wanted to go to
about
page
the CIA.
344.
Okay, 344.
You go to
just
page
before you go there,
344.
yes, just before you go there, I want you to get ready to respond. Family, as you come in, give us a thumbs up, thumbs up. My name is Vicky Dillard. For those of you that are just coming in, I'm with the great brother, brother Dimitri Muhammad. You might as well be that. Go back that day with the Z. How many books you got, brother?
I think maybe 13. I think.
Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. But anyway, family, anyway, thumbs up, like and share. My name is Vicky Dillard. I'm typically here on BlindedBeingQueenTV.com weekdays, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Be sure to like, be sure to share. We do have another sister that comes on live after us, so we gotta I gotta get used to it because we got other queens that come on live. A sister that deals with finance on Fly Nubian. She's going to be live in just a little bit, so we're going to have to wrap this up. I want you to talk about the CIA, brother, but I wanted to say, excuse me, this also. It's important, dear family, and I'm going to keep stressing this, for sincere people, even if you're a detractor, you don't believe, people that want to know the truth for real, you search. It's a proverb, brother Dimitri, in the scripture that says, only the simpleton believes what he's told. A prudent man will search to find truth. When you're a simpleton, you'll take what you saw in the movie and say, seemed like the nation didn't like Malcolm. When you're a simpleton, you take something somebody say on YouTube alone and don't do research. Even when I'm talking, I tell them to go fact check me. You understand? When they're listening to me, I tell them to pray on what I say, make sense of what I say, and I source a lot of what I say based on my opinions. So some of you all refuse to do that, and you're proving just why some of us are still in the terrible condition that we're in, because you are working alongside your open enemy when you take their word at face value. Brother, talk to us about this attempted assassination by the CIA. What page was that again? 3?
This is a news article on page 344.
Okay, I was at 348. 344. Yes, here it is.
It's a news article that quotes Malcolm's elder sister, Ella. And she was more than his elder sister. She was basically kind of like, almost a mother figure in Malcolm's life. She was a financial patron and supporter of Minister Malcolm. If you go to Boston, Massachusetts, I went there a few years ago to her home, and they were at that time renovating it so that it can be a historical site. But Ella Collins is a very significant figure in Minister Malcolm's life, who, curiously enough, is absent from the movie. And I talk about Spike's own admission that so many key figures in the life of Malcolm are not even in the movie.
Come on.
For instance, Malcolm did not learn of the Nation of Islam from another inmate. Malcolm learned of the Nation of Islam from his brother Reginald. Malcolm's biological brothers and sisters, some of them had become members of the nation before Malcolm, and they introduced their brother to Islam. You have the scene where Malcolm has a vision while he's in his jail cell. And in the vision, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is hovering over his bed while Malcolm is in a state of spiritual devotion and prayer. But in Malcolm's book, he said that when he had that vision experience in prison, it wasn't the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. It was, in fact, the teacher of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Master Farrakhan Muhammad. But Spike Lee chose to use his creative license not to give what Malcolm actually said in his autobiography of his own lived experience. Spike felt that it would be too much to try to explain to the public who Master Farrakhan Muhammad was.
Wow. So
he switched it and he made it the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You don't have Minister Farrakhan in the film. You don't have Ella Collins in the film. So Spike admitted to Professor Henry Louis Gates in a very important interview that Professor Gates conducted with Spike about the movie, that these are a lot of the problems that he faced trying to put together a movie about a man's entire life in about 3 hours time. But on page 344, Malcolm's elder sister says that Malcolm told her, if anything happens to me, he was pointing the finger at the CIA did it. And Malcolm began to feel this way because, number one, when he went to Egypt, he was poisoned. He had to have his stomach pumped in Egypt. He was supposed to speak in France, and the French authorities would not allow Malcolm to get off the plane in France. Many historians have speculated that it is because they had been given early intel that Malcolm was to be assassinated by American authorities. And so Malcolm began to look at many things. There was a mysterious man following him that Malcolm said was from the Jewish community while he was in Africa. He said this in his autobiography, and he confronts this man. And he also says that the waiter that served him when he got sick in Egypt was a waiter that he later said he recognized from New York City.
Wow.
So Malcolm said that in those days, the Nation of Islam in America did not have hardly any international footprint. You know, nowadays we have a mosque in the United Kingdom. We have satellite mosques in other countries. But in those days, we were basically landlocked to the United States of America. So Malcolm, as he was putting two and two together as to who was behind what was happening to him, he concluded that there were government forces. And we actually also quote James Farmer, who was part of the civil rights movement.
Yes.
And he said Malcolm had actually reached out to the State Department seeking security and seeking protection because the threat level on his life involved things in the international sphere. And he said the State Department refused to acknowledge Malcolm's request for help and security. So again, I understand that people have emotional reactions when you share knowledge and information that does violence to their opinions, to their attitudes, to things that they think that they had a grasp on, things that they think they know.
Talk about
But this is the reason why all of our great spiritual teachers, Sister Vicky, admonished us to bear the characteristic of humility. Because I don't care how much we know, or how much we think we know, there's always more to learn. And so I'm your brother that loves you, and I love you because Minister Farrakhan has cultivated love in me for my people. So I don't mind you being a troll if you are sincere, but I respectfully submit to you that you should order the book. See, I cared enough about this issue to devote years of my life to researching it, to organizing the research, to writing the book, to editing and laying out the book, and to publishing the book. You don't just get off after a man puts in that kind of effort, dismissing it simply based on your emotional state of being. If you are a sincere person and you're really interested in the truth, you might disagree with me and what I'm saying in this interview, but read the book. And after you read the book, you can come back and critique my arguments. But you do not get you don't have a right to be dismissive of a body of work before you have consulted the body of work.
I know that's right. And I don't think there's any better way to end that than that. And we believe absolutely in that on the Vicky show. And so I was born for these funny looking trolls, not just today, but just in general. You know, I don't, it's part of my destiny. You know, we just shut it down and everything. So it don't even matter, you know, what you all do. We hurl truth at falsehood. Y'all know to go ahead and put the turtles in the chat. Somebody put the turtles in the chat. Brother Demetrius, sometimes we put, well, Lord, I don't even have to say it. Look at this. Somebody done already put the turtles in the chat. The turtles, we put the turtles in the chat, Brother Demetrius, on the Vicky show, because some people sign up, they voluntarily slow. They choose, they willfully just say, you know, pick me for the slowness of it all. So we use just as a sign so we don't get into arguments or nothing. Sometimes it's just easy to do an emoji, and it just speaks volumes. The turtles. And somebody done already put the turtles. High Ground and put the turtles. The Vicky Diller fan page and put the turtles in the chat. Y'all already know what time it is, and we don't even care nothing about you getting all emotional because you going off of what your zaddy said. But did you kill Malcolm? But did you kill Malcolm? Where can you get this book? Researchminister.com. This again is for sincere people that want the truth. Not intellectually lazy people that want everything answered by a quick question in here. And what I find, let me say this so the sister can come on after us. Isn't it something? We give people hardcore evidence that the government don't even have any evidence to put Minister Farrakhan to charge him with murder or any of this kind of stuff. We acknowledge after we was lied to about who murdered and assassinated Dr. King in the 90s, brother Dimitri, that's recent history. His family won a settlement where the jury looked at all the evidence and said the government had everything to do with the murder. We have documents from the Freedom of Information Act from the government that showed they had everything to do with the murder of our brother Fred Hampton, responsible for fomenting problems with the Black Panther Party, so many other well-known. I talk about Asada Shakur all the time. We talk about the fact that they tried to get her with cases. She was beating all the cases, or they were dismissing cases because they wouldn't stand. They finally caught her up with that. We know that they tortured her, did all these things. We have all this evidence. We talk about today in the George Floyd case, the problems, with the prosecutors and the examiner's office with that. We look at today, but yet when it come down to this issue, this is how we know the devil. This is crazy. All of a sudden, Black folks is leaning and relying on their white Jesus, to which I snatch off their Calvary all the time. And I say it like that, Brother Dimitri, because I know what I'm dealing with on the Vicky show sometimes. But family, we want you to get this amazing book, But Didn't You Kill Malcolm, by great brother Dimitri Muhammad, 342 pages, 410 footnotes. Why does Vicky keep emphasizing that? I keep emphasizing that, family, because I want to expose people who are not really doing the research, who are giving you piecemeal information, and who might be an agent and who might not have the best interest of Black people in mind because they have not actually told you the truth. We don't want you to believe anything we're saying, but we do want you to research it, and you can do it and receive this book, But Didn't You Kill Malcolm, at researchminister.com. We thank you so much, Brother Dimitri, for your time today, for your research, for your years of study, for your advocacy for truth, for your respect, for your Black masculinity, for your big Black brain on display, because you're a type of soldier, a scholarly soldier in this war. And so for that, we say thank you. And we look forward to those getting your book as soon as possible, so that we can allow our sister to get ready to come on here in just a moment. Although we had trolls, we had many people that certainly respected what you said and that have been advocating for truth. And for that we say thank you. Thank you, those of you that came back, even though we had difficulty getting back on. Right now, we're getting ready to end the show with 1,700 people watching us live. So that's amazing. We thank you so much. Make sure that you share, like. And brother, do you have any more words that you want to say as we end the show today?
Sister Vicky, I just want to thank you for the privilege and the opportunity to be here and to review the book and to, speak to your audience. And we hope that they will go to researchminister.com and order a copy of the book, researchminister.com, order a copy of the book, and be edified by the truth and the facts. We look forward to, coming back on with you at some point. And so we just encourage you to continue the great work that you are doing, educating the community and helping to hold many of those accountable for a lot of the things that are taking place in the public sphere. So may Allah continue to bless you and your family. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. We thank you so very much, family. Again, thumbs up, like, and share. Don't forget, I'm here weekdays, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time on flynubianqueentv.com. Be sure to join my clubvicky.com. That's my weekly masterminds where I'm dropping spiritual jewels once a week. The family is amazing. Really quick, ladies, if you still want to get my 2-hour webinar that I did called The Secret Money in Your Womb, Women Manifest Differently from Men. I'm going to talk about the sacredness of our womb, just a few things that I've learned from some of our elders and some of our ancestors. You don't want to miss it. 2 hours. It was wildly successful. The testimonies are out of this world. I've told the staff, I had a meeting today with those that I partnered with the network. I said, I don't want to make this accessible more than a few more weeks. So family, get it, because I only want this for the spiritual woman that's actually going to do the work. So go to flynubianmastermind.com, flynubianmastermind.com to get it if you want to just get the mastermind and pay for the replay. If you join my weekly mastermind at clubvicky.com for $1 for the first 30 days, you get automatic access. So 2 ways. If you join my weekly mastermind, clubvicky.com, you get automatic access. Join for $1 and you get access to the 2-hour webinar. If you don't want to join the weekly mastermind, no problem. Just go to flynubianmastermind.com and get it today. I'm working on something special in a few more weeks, so you better hurry, hurry, hurry. Again, thank you so much, Brother Demetrius. It's our privilege, our honor, and it's been a beautiful, successful show today. God